Okay, now greetings acolytes of the Force and welcome back to the archives of our channel. I have been expecting you. I have been analysing and observing, and through my observations I have seen that a lot of theories, ideas and speculations have been forming about the Book of Boba Fett. Most importantly, the fan favourite character that appeared during it, and no, I'm not talking about Ahsoka, as most overrated characters as she is. I am talking about Cad Bane, the Durosian bounty hunter with the known and well-known iconic wide-brimmed hat, his blazing fiery red eyes, and pointed jagged fangs that lined the depths of his mouth. Yeah, that Cad Bane. In my opinion, the greatest bounty hunter in all of Star Wars history, in the Clone Wars in particular, was when he reached his peak. Now, if you didn't know, during the events of the Book of Boba Fett, which if you haven't seen, I would be very, very disappointed in you. During the events of this TV show, which I have to admit is one of my favourite TV shows in all of Star Wars lore, absolutely love it. I love seeing Cad Bane. He was definitely the highlight for me. He's possibly the only character that's the superior or equal to Darth Malgus in my opinion, who, as you know if you've watched my videos on the channel, I absolutely love. Anyway, let's get into the video. Cad Bane, during the events and Battle of Mos Espa, where Boba Fett was riding and mounting upon his Rancor in the streets, warding off the Pike Syndicate invasion force, Cad Bane and Boba engaged in a duel, with Cad Bane eventually lying on the floor and Boba Fett impaling him through the chest with his Gaddafi stick. Now, the Gaddafi stick was the traditional weapon used by the Tusken Raiders, and as we know from the Book of Boba Fett flashbacks while Boba's in the Bacta tank, Boba Fett trained with the Tusken Raiders and was eventually accepted into their clan as one of them, which I find very interesting, and I hope we see that if there is a Season 2, which, like I said, I very much hope there is. Anyway, Cad Bane is impaled and pierced through the chest with the spike of the Gaddafi stick, after remarking that Boba, like his father Jango Fett, the greatest bounty hunter in the galaxy before Cad Bane and his prominent rise, was a killer. Now, this is a very interesting scene, and it's the topic that leads us into today's video. I personally do not believe that Cad Bane is dead. Dave Filoni, who was the head of this show and one of the main directors, he would not have brought back this incredible animated character just to give him the lamest death in 2 seconds, with Boba knocking him onto the floor and impaling him with the Gaddafi stick. I don't think Dave Filoni would do something like that to the fans. Cad Bane is definitely one of the most well-received and badass characters in all of Star Wars, in the Clone Wars in particular. He's my favourite character in the prequel era, even better than Darth Vader, which I know would anger some people, but anyway, it's my opinion. And when Cad Bane is impaled, we can see that while he is being stabbed, he releases an odd sound, not a sound like a scream like you would normally and typically hear when you are impaled. He sort of protrudes a sound that's similar to a hot air balloon or a balloon, and all the air of the balloon is being let out, which I find very interesting, seeing that he didn't die like normal people would if he got like impaled. It's very interesting. It's very interesting in my opinion. And yet, I personally don't think Cad Bane is dead. And what I further believe, and the reason I'm so supportive of this theory and so authentic about its belief, is mainly due to the fact that after this we can see a button glowing and blinking a light crimson colour. Now, this is on Cad Bane's coat, which is a trademark about his appearance. It often sways when he walks, like when he gunned down Cobb Vanth in the 6th episode, which personally is my favourite episode in the entire series. Don't know about you. Leave your opinion on Book of Boba Fett in the comments below. Anyway, I don't think Cad Bane is dead, and mainly due to the fact that his breathing tubes that protrude into his neck, they actually go down his throat, because during the time of his Clone Wars, which was essentially Cad Bane's peak in bounty hunting, he was considered like the best, because Jango Fett had recently died in the Patronaki Arena during the Battle of Geonosis to Mace Windu, who was commonly regarded as the champion of the Order. Cad Bane specifically arsenaled his arsenal to take out Jedi. And that's really what he did. He went and fought up against Obi-Wan Kenobi and Quinlan Vos, two very highly esteemed and powerful Jedi Masters who I really, really want to see more expanded on in the future, especially Quinlan Vos. We don't know where he is, but we know canonically that he survived Order 66. Anyway, the breathing tubes that Cad Bane has are designed to help him from being force choked. Obviously, during the Clone Wars, there was a lot of Jedi, and while the Jedi are typically not associated with this ability, Cad Bane knew that his main employer was Dooku and Darth Sidious. He was contacted by Sidious directly, which is a very great honour, in my opinion, and in all of Star Wars lore, only few beings have ever been given that honour. And he knew that the Sith, who were his main employers and suppliers, they employed this ability a lot, and they utilised it during combat. So if Cad Bane ever... Well, I'll say it this. If Cad Bane ever disobeyed or failed to bring in his bounty, which is Cad Bane, so it's very unlikely, but if he ever did, then he could protect himself, because even Palpatine, he most likely couldn't use this ability long distance. He could use his ability long distance. He could use Force Choke, but he couldn't use an ability like Force Lightning. And Force Lightning being Palpatine's staple ability and the most famous dark side ability, in my opinion. And that's personally why I don't think Cad Bane is dead. I think the light on his chest is signalling for his droid, Toto 360, a techno service droid we saw in the Bad Batch and during the Clone Wars TV show, to come pick him up and throw him into back to temp, similar to what's happening to Cobb Vanth. But I don't believe that Dave Filoni would bring back this very highly esteemed and very well loved and hyped character from the Clone Wars. His main work, his child, the Clone Wars was, and just give him the lamest death. I don't think this is the last we'll see of Cad Bane. If it is, I wish they had have done his death better, and I'll be doing a video about how I would have done Cad Bane's death if they did his death in this TV show. Anyway, that's essentially it. Thank you for tuning into this video. Be sure to smash like and strike down the subscribe button if you wish to ascend to the rank of Master. It is your destiny. Goodbye, Acolytes and Mercenaries of the Galaxy. And hopefully you will not be on the receiving end of my blaster pistol today.